In this episode of Zero Hour, Trinamool Congress MP Dereko'brien explains what opposition MPs must do in order to connect and engage with citizens directly and highlight the serious issues coming up in Parliament.
Hello, I'm Derek O'Brien and welcome to another edition of Zero Hour. Well, Parliament is just not being covered enough. Let's start with Sangsad TV. There are 10 or 12 cameras around, but it's very, very clear that the way the online editing is being done, you see the chairperson in Rajya Sabha or you see the Lok Sabha speaker. Then you have one shot which is always on the treasury benches, never on the opposition when the protests are on or when the opposition members go into the well of the house. This is very, very frustrating because opposition protesting is part of the proceedings. And I know a little about television and multi-camera shoots because in my earlier avatar I would do a quiz contest where we would have 6-7 cameras. So what is really happening? This is a form of censorship because when you are showing a frame of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha or the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, then you are showing another frame only with the treasury benches. Then you should also be showing those pictures and beam them out where the treasury benches are on their feet, all the MPs on the feet, shouting slogans and disrupting Parliament. So there's lots to be done. And let's not only blame Sangsad TV. I think there has to go beyond that. Number one, senior journalists, senior editors were allowed into Central Hall. Why have they been stopped? I urge this government to bring back the senior editors into Central Hall for informal discussions, for coffee, for tea, for toast. There was another rule where you could also have your party press conferences in Parliament. No press conference, to my knowledge, has been held by any political party since COVID. Now we say COVID. The last 1 week we've seen batches of school students coming on a sightseeing tour of Parliament. Very good. Bring the school students. We've been seeing MPs bring their constituents, 30-40 of them, to show them around Parliament. Very good. If you can bring school students in and you can bring your constituents in, why can't journalists be allowed access like they were allowed before COVID? Media houses are telling me that a large media house will only get one pass for each media house, not on. Of course, if you have some maybe worthy exceptions, then those worthy exceptions can get 4 or 5 passes. So Parliament cannot be made into a deep, dark chamber. The journalists have to be allowed in. Members of Parliament and members of opposition parties, there's no use sitting around doing crybaby and complaining about some channel not carrying your news, about some media house which is biased. No, I think we've got to change all that. We have to find innovative ways to get our messages across. I really do believe it's time the politician starts creating the content and then amplifying that content. See, there was a time we had journalists, then it moved to citizen journalists. Now I do believe there's a new breed, the politician journalist. We have to create our own content. For example, if you're going to the ED office or the CBI office or to the finance minister's office to make a point, 5-6 MPs going there with caps and autographed. I've written about all this in the column in Indian Express. Then what do? You have to take somebody to shoot. And before any newspaper or video reports it, you put out the content. So I think it's important that we become politician journalists. Don't get me wrong, the journalists have to do their job. But if the content is not being generated from inside Parliament, politicians have to do that job. In the last few weeks, Different folks have tried to do it in different ways. The Congress party put up a huge banner on the facade of Parliament. That was covered. My party, the Trinamool Congress, we wore caps. We wore caps and we went to different spots. Innovation. Innovation is the name of the game. Creating different content. Don't waste time now blaming the legacy media. Let the legacy media do their job. We as politicians have to find ways to be politician journalists. Those days, I believe, of a political party or the media cell of a political party waiting for a guest relations executive to call you up from Noida and say, please send a spokesperson on our program at 8:30 or please send a spokesperson on our program at 9:30. I think those days are gone. Let me give you an incident. I was at the airport afternoon. I think it was Friday afternoon. I was at the airport and this news came through about Mr. Rahul Gandhi's disqualification. Within half an hour, Chief Minister of West Bengal, Ms. Mamata Banerjee, tweet was out. National General Secretary of All India Trinamool Congress, tweet was out. I was at the airport lounge. We needed to react after discussing it within the party. Video was out. We weren't waiting for a journalist to call up for a phono. The rules have to change. Political parties and opposition have to start thinking differently. There's no time to sit at home and cry. The rules are being rewritten. The rules for parliament, for democracy, for federalism, for constitution, all this has been rewritten by this BJP government. We have to think differently. We have to innovate. Every alternate Friday in the Indian Express, 0 hour. Click on the description below to read the full article.